Okay, I have only the two dates. I have 1880 and 1881. Look at these coins, and when I do this, when you look at the luster of the coin, like I said, when you turn this around, what happens is when the coin when the coin is struck, when the die hits the coin, the silver flows into the die and creates what are called flow lines. These flow lines reflect light in a very specific way that creates what we call luster. This luster, so that when I turn it, it looks like the spokes of a wheel.
Yeah.
And that's what we're getting in here, is this incredible lustrous finish. And then particularly on the reverse of the coin, because the fields are bigger, you see that mirror finish that you see a lot in coins from the 21st century, but you rarely see from coins from the 19th century. Particularly at a price that's $149.95. Basically just a small premium to the regular price of an American silver dollar from San Francisco from the 1880s.
I mean, imagine that from the 1880s to now, how meticulously cared for and safely handled a coin like this has to be to look like this. I mean, that's what fascinates me so much about the coins that you bring us.
Yeah, see, here's like an 1881S I have in the nationally advertised catalog. Mint State 60, these are more like 63 or 62, 63, 64. They're $130.
Wow.
So I have probably 3 grades higher, plus proof-like for basically 15 bucks. I mean, and this proof-like, I mean, and that is truly, utterly
I can see your finger, yeah,
amazing.
Look at the mirror finish.
From a coin, and it's interesting. Proof-like is a very specific designation. You have to be able to read under normal light 12-point type from 5 inches in the coin. That's how it, so it's not like I think it's kind of shiny.
Sure.
Okay, it's very specific. So if I put something in there from 5 inches away in 12-point type, I can read it in the coin.
Wow.
So that's literally the mirror part of that. That is the proof-like part. So it must pass those technical specifications to be able to be proof-like. So we had the 1880, I have the 1881s, as you can see here. The proof-like designation, far, far more difficult than any other designation in the Morgan Silver Dollar, because only about the first 3 or 4 dozen coins off each die, and a die will make tens of thousands of coins. And only the first 2 or 3 dozen are going to exhibit those, and they had to survive 140 years.
Yeah, as I was saying, like, imagine what it's gone through. I can't imagine what the process is like to track coins like this down. It truly is special. So if you want to take advantage of that, you can pick that up. It is $149.95, and it's on 4 flex payments. So $37.49 will get that home to you so you can start enjoying it. That's the only airing that we have planned as of now on the day. So if you want to take advantage of that, I would go ahead and do it.